I want you to touch base on like working with us here at Agent Lead Lab. We talked about the leads a little bit, but how has the experience been working with us? Obviously, the team, the leads. I'll kind of give you the floor to talk about it. And then I'm going to also follow up with like, always ask what are some things that you would like recommend we could improve or, tidbits for agents, like to not think that everything's like perfect. But we'll start with what's kind of your experience been thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to go back and look at the exact numbers, right? But I think that I've closed at least 20 or 25% of all the leads that I've gotten up to this point. I think I'm on lead order number 3 or 4 at this point, and I've consistently closed, 20 to 25% of per lead order, right? And that's very profitable when the average case size is $2,000 or $3,000, right, on an annual basis. So sometimes more, sometimes less. But anyways, the cool part, as alluded to earlier, is that the average lead vendor is you're not talking to the CEO, you're not talking to the owner, you're talking to a sales guy. And the sales guy is simply there to sell you. And once you buy that lead from them, there's no communication except when do you want to buy your next order, right? Here, it's different. It's like when I joined, and I didn't even know this when I bought my first lead order with you guys, right? I wanted the leads more than anything else. But one, they're competitively priced, which is what originally intrigued me. Once we got in, there's tons of training, videos, scripts, pre-recorded trainings, pre-recorded videos, looms. There's an entire community where every day people are writing applications and posting what they did to win and how they made the sales and what kind of sales that they made. Everything's in a group chat setting. Everything's on Discord. There's group chats with myself, Trey, and the team. So when I have a personal issue going on with my lead order or whatever the case may be, I just send a message to the tech team and they get back to me, certainly within an hour, most of the time quicker than that. I had a busy weekend this weekend. I was playing golf on Saturday and Mother's Day on Sunday. So I sent a message to the team. I was like, hey, can we pause the leads over the weekend because I'm not going to be working at all? And can we restart them on Monday? And they said, yep, absolutely. We'll pause it Friday night and restart it Monday morning. So the communication is there. It's very rare in the industry to have that from a lead vendor. So
Yeah, 100%. Well, we appreciate that. And then on the other end, anything that you would improve, things maybe you would tell agents like, once again, maybe not bad, but just anything that you could share that like, hey, it's not all roses. This could be something you need to look for, whether it's like speed to lead or, the leads don't come in super fast all the time or whatever. Not every lead's perfect. I always just like to give agents the opportunity to know all the pros, but also if there are any cons or things that they can look out for so they can come into this with a very open mind.
yeah, well, just remember that the stats that I gave earlier, that means that 70 to 75% of the leads that I'm buying I'm not getting a hold of. I'm not answering the phones or book an appointment and they no-show me, right? So it is certainly the majority of the leads, but that's the industry, right? And if you're new to the industry, then that is an interesting thing to wrap your head around. But I can tell you that even though I'm closing 20 to 25% of the leads that come in, I'm still getting on average, I looked at it this morning, a 6 to 9x ROI on every lead order that I've bought so far, right? So do the math. If you spend $1,000, I'm making 6 to 9,000 in commission on the back end. If I spend $2,000, then you can do the math on that as well, right? So even though I'm not necessarily hearing no, but not getting a hold of 70% of the leads that come in, I'm still getting a 6 to 8 times ROI. And that's why you really need to work with the leads that you do have coming in. You do constantly need to take massive action and constantly be dialing. I would also recommend to anybody to use a CRM because it's a lot of leads and then it's a lot of appointments and it's a lot of
Yeah.
dials and it's a lot of notes and it can be very confusing very fast. So using a CRM, some form of Go High Level or whatever CRM that you want to use, where you're dripping on these leads. They're getting texts every day. They're getting emails every day. There's voicemails, right? Whatever the case may be, helps you tremendously because then the client's responding to you at their available time. So at that point, it's really easy to pick up the phone and call them when you see they're available and texting back and forth with your CRM.
Yeah, no, 100%. And we are gonna wrap up, but I have a question because I forgot to ask you. Do you text messages? That's what I meant to ask you. So you mentioned contacting them. Are you texting these leads immediately? Are you texting them? I know you said you call in the evenings. That's a question that I get asked all the time. And
Yeah.
like for me, I wasn't a texting guy. Like when I sold, and I know some agents are totally against it versus some agents, they die by it. What are you seeing? I'm sure you tried. Like, what's the best practice from the cell phone? Let the automated. What do you think? What do you think that's best for agents when it comes to contacting these leads through text?
Yeah, so I do call them right away. It is a speed to lead thing for me. And once again, I'll probably 20% of them do answer, right? Because they filled out the form and they're expecting a call immediately. So to me, speed to lead 100% will do that, you know. Now, the other 80 to 90% that don't answer on that immediate phone call, I'm immediately throwing into my CRM where they're immediately getting a text and an email from me. Right. And once again, maybe 20% of them, 30% of them, whatever, will respond to the CRM. And that's excellent. Right. But once again, the remaining 60, 70% that don't answer that initial phone call and are not answering to my CRM is going back into dialing, right? It's like I need to get a hold of them over the phone. So absolutely, I am calling them immediately. I am throwing them into the CRM, but that's not the end all be all because the majority of my sales, 90% of them are coming from me picking up the phone. So
Gotcha. No, I like that. I like that. I like that. Cool. Well, is there anything else you want to leave the people with before we hop off, bro, about the company, about your experience? I mean, the floor is yours to kind of say anything maybe I didn't ask you that you think is important for people to know.
yeah, like I said, competitively priced is what originally caught my attention, and the support has been there. It's been just over a month, you know, call it 5 or 6 weeks that I've been associated with Trey at this point, and I will continue to be here for quite a while. So it's I've been looking for an IUL lead vendor, or really just any lead vendor for since October. So 9 months now that I've just been kind of rotating through, and you're the first company that I've made a second purchase with, let alone a third and a fourth. So for what it's worth, as somebody who's been in the industry for 9 years and been looking for a lead vendor for 8 or 9 months now, you know, take that for what it's worth. So.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, brother. We appreciate you. And for anybody that is interested or has questions, just reach directly out to us and we will contact Jimmy, see if he wants to potentially, talk to you, maybe help you out, whatever the situation is, but we'll get that squared away. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a blessed day and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. See you guys next time.